Welcome to another episode of No Two Forks Given. In this episode, you'll finally get to see the onboard footage of the Vyrus at my local track. During my first shakedown test of the Vyrus, I noticed I wasn't hitting 6th gear down the straight, so it's time to make the rear sprocket a little taller. If you're short on time, you can skip to about the 5 minutes mark to see the track footage. Removing the rear wheel on the Vyrus is pretty much the same as any other sports bike, just have to carefully maneuver the tire around the caliper. Next step is to remove all the safety wires. I'll spare you from having to watch me cut every single piece of wire. I'm going up 2 teeth to a 46 sprocket made by Apim. I believe it's the same bolt pattern used by many Ducatis, hence the Ducati bubble wrap. The sprocket nuts are actually made of aluminum and require a much lower torque value than your typical steel nuts. As you can imagine, a sprocket flying off can cause considerable damage. Since these nuts are pre-drilled, it's cheap insurance to safety wire them. I once asked Vyrus on what chain slack I should run. They gave me the most correct engineering answer possible. If the front sprocket, swing arm pivot, and rear sprocket formed a line, that's the longest the chain will ever need to be. Adjust to no slack at that point. In the last video, I mentioned a plethora of upgrades Vyrus has. One of them is a taller windscreen. Besides looking better in my opinion, the taller windscreen allows me to access and mount a camera in the front. I struggled to line up the screen holes and discovered it was easier if I just installed the upper fairing and windscreen as one unit. Here, I carefully maneuvered the unit back in place. The glossy carbon fiber finish is just too beautiful to scratch. Now I have more space to mount a camera, turn it on, or swap a battery in place. The data logger I have can also wirelessly trigger the camera to record once it starts logging. The trigger is set to speeds over 30 miles per hour. Here's how the footage looks like on board. On this date, the temperature was about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. With tire warmers and slick tires, traction was excellent. possibility this is the only Vyrus 96 running right now in the world. I will try not to also be the only one who crashes in 96 today. With a taller final drive and a lower gear, it's a little harder to maintain a smooth throttle, or neutral throttle as they call it in racing school. You'll hear it through some of the turns as I adjusted the new gearing. But the beauty of hub center steering is that any minor throttle changes doesn't upset the chassis as much as it would on a forked motorcycle. There's no brake dive or chassis pitching as you slam on the brakes. I even hit a bad bump on the track and I only felt a nudge to the chassis at best. Coming into turn 1 is a yellow flag due to a rider being off track. You'll see him in the runoff area, waiting for the track to clear before re-entering. For my in-lap, I decided to try entering the turns one gear higher. or just need to learn to be a faster rider. Meanwhile, back in my shop, work continues on the Honda VFR 400. I have about 3 or 4 episodes filmed. Here's a sneak peek. These are custom triple clamps made to grab Olin forks from a Daytona 675R onto the Honda chassis. When bolting on custom one-off parts, there's a lot to check on your own. Things like rake angle, trail, wheelbases, and interference with other parts. This is a larger core radiator. Unlike the original radiator, this one does not have a curve to it, which means the hoses have to be trimmed and clearances with the fairings need to be checked. Sometimes you get lucky, and folks are still manufacturing the original parts, like this chain slider. The original one is brittle and will snap if minorly flexed. A lot of the work consists of bolting things on and off to adjust as necessary. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate your patience. Stay tuned for more episodes. Bye for now.